you want to recap? Half of us didn't watch the other shit the other half watched.
Did everybody's seen Love God, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the new Gravity Falls Love God, which I have described a couple of times as censorship parkour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because there was a literal bong in that episode in the Love God's van.
I missed that.
Yeah, our sister who had seen it before, like, pointed it out to us, was like, look. And we're like, what? And like, oh.
There's a van background, and for most of it, the Love God is sitting in front of it.
Uh-huh.
And then, like, at the end of the shot, he moves, and you see a bong.
Ooh. I have to imagine, like, just, they didn't, like, they were just fingers crossed that they wouldn't notice. I didn't notice.
Yeah.
I think that whole episode was like Hirsch, like, stretching his fingers and be like, ooh, how far can I go?
I was thinking about this earlier. Robbie's parents gave me kind of a Fairly Odd Parents vibe. Like, just those kind of characters. I feel like...
Yeah, like that deadpan humor about, like, you know, it's like turning happipiness into a joke, basically.
Yeah.
Directly citing death and, like...
Yeah.
So shamelessly, just like, oh, yeah, there's a dead guy, and I hope nobody dies.
There was, like, a corpse in their living room. They used it as furniture.
Yeah, it's not just death, because that's been okay to talk about for a while, but death profiteering.
They were great.
Yeah,
they were a wonderful addition.
Yeah, I super dig it.
And we discovered Robbie's middle name and last name. It's Robbie Stacy. It's a girl's middle name. What's his middle name?
I think it was Stacy.
I think it's Stacy Valentino. So that's the second middle name that we have learned. After Wendy's, which, according to Alex Hirsch's Twitter, is Blurby.
And he literally did that just because he can.
He said it's canon, so I say it's canon too.
Well, I think the fact that his last name's Valentino, I guess, is sort of significant, because his symbol is the heart, like on Bill Cipher's, like, graph of people.
He's part of that big, stupid prophecy that probably won't make any sense until the very last 5 minutes of this entire series. I'm guessing.
There were so many good bits about this episode. Like, I don't even know where to start. Like, what was the name of their friend that they always shat on?
Oh,
Thompson.
Thompson.
Yeah, poor Thompson. And, like, all the hipster jokes. Like, they finally took advantage of the fact that their show is set in Oregon. And they're like, you know what? We've been sitting on this duck, and now we're going to cook it.
Is that a metaphor?
The worst
that
people
use?
in the world live in our state. Let's mock them.
It's a metaphor I made
Sitting
up.
on a duck and then cooking it. All right. I like it. It's in my lexicon.
I got the cryptograms, as I always do. The one at the end of the credits was goat and a pig. No, the goat and a pig was the code. In season 2, they've added a thing where there's like a hidden message that you use to decode the thing. I'm not smart enough for it. The one at the end of the credits was I eat kids.
That balloon was amazing.
And speaking of goat and a pig, this episode was, like the last one, bordered in part by Emmy Ciceriga, and that song was done by her brother Neil Ciceriga, who you may know from he's done a lot of shit on the internet, but including some music, such as you may know from, like, 35 goddamn years ago, Ultimate Showdown of Ultimate Destiny. Same guy.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
That was a fun viral video.
Yep.
Yeah, from, like, seriously 150 years ago. It's like the first video on the internet. And then the image at the end, which was the heart, is at the play or at the fair, I always see them standing there. Dressed in black, they're on my lawn, but when I turn my head, they're gone. Which is a reference to the fact that the agents from the first episode of this season have cameoed in the previous couple of episodes. At the play, they were in sock opera, and at the fair, you could see them
In the background.
hiding behind shit in the background. Also, in the background of this episode was Blind Ivan of was it Society of the Blind Eye, just walking around trying to reintegrate.
Good for him.
I love how the love god was just such a disgusting schlub. Like,
and of course,
he wanted to make out with that girl in the diner, and like, there's so many innuendos, and like, I was just.
And of course, he's voiced by the great John DiMaggio.
I was just
which is his second role in this show because he's also Manly Dan.
Ah, of course. He's either that's the thing, like John DiMaggio is either like the manliest man or the dudiest dude. Those are his wheelhouses.
And we're going to talk about some more stuff that he did this week, but one other thing I liked about this episode is, you know, they had the whole thing of like sneaking snacks into the fair by taping them to Thompson's body. Here's an anecdote. I have a good friend of mine, who, with his crew, every time a new movie would come out, they would go to the midnight releases and they would dress up for them. And he would always find elaborate ways to sneak in food. There was one time where they took an entire pizza, wrapped each slice in foil, and then taped it to their skin under their shirts.
Ooh.
There was another time where they saw a Harry Potter movie. They all dressed up as wizards. He was wearing the fucking, like, Mickey Mouse Fantasia hat. Mm-hmm. In the hat was an entire cheesesteak.
Didn't they sneak in crabs at some point?
That
like
was the one time I saw
crabs?
the first goddamn G.I. Joe movie with them. He came off of his shift at a restaurant, and we just brought in crab legs. And I actually feel bad about that to this day. That was like the shittiest thing I've ever done to a minimum wage person, was force them to clean up crab shells.
Whoa! You left the shells.
I feel really bad about that all the. Well, I mean, like, I'm eating a gut. It's impossible to
you
eat
brought
crabs
nothing
cleanly.
You brought nothing to dispense the shells into, and then put them in a receptacle.
I like kept them in the bag, but there was probably shit on the floor, and the whole theater smelled like crab because it's crab. Adventure Time had 4 new episodes this week. Tooch has only seen 2 of them because he sucks.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about all of them anyway.
Yeah.
Okay.
First was Everything's Jake, featuring Billy West as 3 or 4 different voices.
Like half of them reminiscent of Futurama roles.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it was Billy West and John DiMaggio. Like, they were probably
together
having
again.
a ton of fun in the booth.
If they recorded together, which I hope they did.
That would be a crime if they didn't.
I mean, sometimes you just can't schedule, you know?
Yeah, that's true. My favorite part of that episode was Goose and his jowls.
Yes.
Just sort of clapping them.
Just clapping them jowls.
Yeah, it was kind of a weird episode. Like, I wasn't sure what they were trying to do with it, and I don't know if they succeeded with what they were trying to do.
Also, Tress MacNeille was up ins.
Oh, yeah.
Because she did the Tinny Tim voice.
Oh, yeah.
It kind of reminded me of the episode of Justice League, might have been Unlimited, I don't know, for The Man Who Has Everything, which was based off of a comic book story. But anyway, because it was about like
No, that's a good episode.
Yeah. Where like Superman gets trapped in like this fantasy world where everything's perfect, but he's like something's still wrong, and like the closer he gets to the truth, the more the earthquakes of Krypton happen. And then at the very end, he's like, I need to get back to the real world, and I'm sacrificing this entire world to do it. And that's basically what Jake did, but he didn't care. He just wanted food.
It's a similar thing to like in the episode Bahoy, where they did a send-up of the TNG episode, The Inner Light.
Yeah, I was thinking about that one, too.
I think Bahoy's my favorite episode of Adventure Time. At the end of this Star Trek episode, Picard like has to reconcile the fact that he just lived an entire life that was fake and happened in the span of like a couple of minutes. But he lived all that. It was all real to him. And he has to go on living after he had basically lived an entire life and died. And then in Pahoy, after all that, Finn immediately forgets. Like it's a dream. He just immediately forgets it. And that, for whatever reason, really hit me. I don't know why. But like, that resonated with me really strongly. And that's a big reason why I think it's my favorite episode.
It was a really good episode.
But this episode also sort of reminded me of, I guess because it was DiMaggio, that episode where Bender had, like, the little world of people on his butt.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Godfellas.
Where he was, like, responsible for their life, and, like, he was attached to them for a little bit, but then, he ultimately got over it.
You were doing very well until everyone died.
And the next episode was called...
Is That You?
Yes.
Which featured the revival of Prisma, voiced by comedian and I guess podcaster, but who isn't a podcaster? Fuck. Kumail Nanjiani.
And this probably goes down as the Moynihan-iest Moynihan episode Moynihan has ever Moynihammed.
The moist.
The moist Moynihan-iest.
Do your cheeks hurt after saying that sentence? Because mine do.
But seriously, everything about this episode, the art direction in particular, was just straight up Moynihan. I didn't even have to read the credits. I was like, yep, that's him. It's him. It's him. I know it.
I seen it. He's got style, a groovy style, and a power.
Yeah,
just
it was just Moynihan, no partner.
And of course it was confusing as fuck.
But I like how they kind of were like, this isn't going to make sense, so we're just going to kind of run with it.
Yeah, they're like, it doesn't matter if it makes sense or not.
I followed it.
Yeah, no, you could definitely follow it. And it was really enjoyable. I loved Jake's scene with that bed. Like, he was so in love with the bed, he cried. And, like, I have so been there. Like, you're like, oh, this bed is so wonderful.
I'm basically there every night, every Monday through Friday night now. This is me. That's just my life now.
Yeah, pretty much. Every time you go to bed, you're like, I'm so happy to be here. And Finn has gotten his coolest sword.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's his fifth one. There was the golden sword, tree sword, the blood sword, the grass sword, and now the Finn sword.
Yep. It's his coolest, newest, most powerful, and most narcissistic. It's just him. That was the one thing that made me, cause all the time travel stuff was all convoluted, but I love time travel, so I was totally following it. And then Finn turns into a sword, and I'm like, wait, why? Okay, I mean, I went with it because it's Adventure Time, but up until that point, everything had made basic sense to me. And then Finn turned into a sword instead of, I don't know, blowing up or something.
And then the next episode was Jake the Brick, and that was probably my favorite of the four.
Mine as well.
And it sort of blindsided me. I didn't expect it to be what it was.
Well, shit.
And I don't know how much I want to go into it, because I want Tooch to, revel in the majesty that is this episode.
I can sum it up in 3 words.
Okay.
Jake does Attenborough.
Attenborough. Which Attenborough? What Attenborough?
David.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah. It was beautiful. It honestly was very beautiful and touching, and it harkened back to a time that I never lived in, but it made it feel like it could be a thing again. And it was just super sweet, and I loved it. A heck of a lot.
And featured cameos from a ton of characters we haven't seen in a grip.
I know what I'm doing immediately after this podcast.
You bet your
yes,
goddamn
you
ass.
And then Tetsuo Donatello Carman. If you haven't done that yet.
Oh, no, I did do that.
Wasn't it amazing?
Yeah, well, because what that was referencing was it's some specific artist who drew super fucked up, gross looking goblin men riding in hot rod cars. That was his thing.
Oh, I know that Ratfink guy.
Yeah, Ratfink artist. Yeah, that's who it was referencing. Donatello turns into a Ratfink character, and it's super gross.
I hate that guy's art,
but it's iconic.
Yeah, I guess.
You'll like it though. It's.
Oh, I'm sure I'll like it for the body horror. I just hate that guy's art. Everybody's got big ass bug eyes, and their tongues are flapping out behind them.
Everything's veiny and smelly looking.
And then the last episode was Dentist.
The only one to not focus on Jake and instead focus on Finn, and featured Lucy Lawless, using what I assume is her native accent, because the character had New Zealand accent, and that's where she's from, is there.
Gosh, Lucy
Which
Lawless.
I didn't know before this episode.
Oh, Lucy Lawless, you are illegal. Because she's lawless.
Yeah, I get it. Now, this episode, I'm not going to go into the plot that much because, again, Tooch hasn't seen it. But there was an interesting thing in there where he's talking to the Finn sword, and there's a Finn in there, like, talking back to him.
Oh, gasp. I didn't even consider that. I just thought the other Finn was dead.
I guess it's ambiguous whether that was his reflection or another Finn.
Oh.
But, so we'll have to see how that plays out. But he's like, but what the Finn in the sword says is, you can do it, man. You're Finn Mertens. Finn Mertens, that full name hasn't been used since the season 5 premiere Jake the Human, no, Finn the Human, Jake the Dog double episode premiere thing, referring to Farm World Finn. So, apparently, canon timeline Finn also has his same last name, Mertens. Which would also mean that Finn's father's name is Martin Mertens.
Wow.
Which is a really... It sounds like you got a mouthful of caramel.
Martin Mertens.
Now,
Why would Finn even need a last name?
I don't know.
How would he even get a last name?
yeah, unless it's like that's also Jake's last name and it's his adoptive last name.
Maybe, but then why would Farm World Finn have that last name?
It's very odd. It raises
Yeah,
more.
Finn
It's a
Mertens.
weird thing for them to say.
I
And
really hope whoever wrote that ran it by somebody to check, and this isn't like some Wonder Girl situation where he just thought that was Finn's last name and went with it.
No, I mean, that was his name in Finn the Human.
Yeah, I know, but that was a different Finn.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe since Penn's no longer up ins, he can't stop people from doing this shit.
I mean, he's still working on the show. Like, somebody could
yeah,
somebody could
that's
like roll out of their queue and be like, "Hey, Penn, is that his last name?" No. All right, thanks.
He did work on the story to this episode, so there we go.
Yeah, I mean, so apparently Finn knew his name when he was born.
He was a baby pooping, making boom
Or knew
boom.
his given name. Because when he was talking to his dad, he said, "It's me, I'm Finn." So, I guess, I guess inside his hat or something, he had like a little
Maybe.
doggy tag that's like, "Hello, this is Finn Mertens.
Finn Mertens.
Please return to."
No one, because I don't want him. I mean,
I'm a
it's Finn's
jerk.
dad. Yeah, like.
Yeah. The jerkiest jerk in the cosmos.
Right, and then
Finn's
we've
dad.
got basic premises for all the December episodes coming up.
Yeah.
The Cooler features it's a Flame Princess heavy episode.
Ooh.
Yep.
Good.
Evergreen apparently takes place before the Mushroom War. So, I am down. And there's a character named Nina in it.
What?
And the title card is a parallel to the show's like main title card at the end where it's like, it's adventure time with the rock and
Oh
the
my
thing.
god.
And the Frazetta.
My brain.
And then we
I
got
can't.
Astral Plane, which I got nothing.
Ice
There's
Cave's in
nothing
it.
for it. There's apparently a preview for it from NYCC. Wow. And then we've got an episode called The Mountain, which it's it's a lemon grab episode. Apparently Lemon Hope will be in it.
Good things
And then
happening.
an episode called Germaine. Which I've been waiting for something like this for like 100 years.
Yes!
Crystals Have Power was season 2.
The prophecy has been fulfilled. Nah, man, we're just dreaming at the same time.
Because like every time our dad watches this show with us, but he never remembers Germaine, so like every time he comes up, we have to explain to him that he was in this episode.
Oh, good lord, I can't wait.
Right, that's going to be all for this week of the
Yeah.
Toon Goons.
What about shoutouts?
No, now it's time for housekeeping and wrap-ups.
Alrighty, so some shoutouts. Got an email from Donovan. asking if we think about talking about King of the Hill.
I've never watched it.
I've never watched that show.
Really? You guys have never watched that
I've
show?
Heard good things about it.
It's funny.
No.
Our dad hates it.
Yeah, that's why. When our parents hate something, we don't tend to... Like David Bowie. He hates David Bowie, too. So that's why I never got to listen to any David Bowie.
Wow.
What's my dad's problem?
A lot of things, actually, but we won't go into that. Yeah, I'd like to watch it. I've never seen that before.
It's basically like a show about rednecks, but they're not being stereotypical rednecks. They're just like, I don't know, like
Yeah, Donovan says it's comparable to Clarence, but for adults.
yeah, I don't know. That's a very loose. That's a loose thing. I would have to pry him for more explanation on that. I think I might be able to kind of see it, at least tonally, where he's coming from. Maybe, I don't know. But yeah, it's a funny show.
It's something worth putting on the queue. How many seasons did it get?
I think I got 10 seasons, so I'm not sure we'd be able to do it actually. But I mean, oh shit, I got 13 seasons. That's like there's 259 episodes.
Well, maybe we can start chipping away at it and do it like 3 years from now.
We also have to not tell Dad because he specifically told me to never do an episode about King of the Hill.
For real?
He did.
He is that salty about King of the Hill.
I don't know. Yeah.
He's a salty dog.
Any other shoutouts?
Yes. Little Bunny Frou Frou wanted to share a cool fact about Feast. The director, Patrick Osborne, was at the Ottawa International Animation Festival a few months ago and talked about his pitch. Apparently, he based it around an app that lets you record a few seconds of your day every day, and then compiles it into one big supercut of your year. He did that with every meal he ate for a year. And that's why food is always at the center of the shot in Feast.
Neat.
A film based off of an app. Here we are.
It's the future, people. Yeah, everybody calm down. We're fine.
Plug in.
And Satuki His, all the way back in our Young Justice episode, wanted to share with us that Danica McKellar is also a mathematician and education advocate. I don't remember who that is.
That's Ms. Martian, right?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, right, because she was, wasn't she played by... Oh, yeah, Winnie from the Wonder Years. I remember now, yeah, because she was, like, super... Yeah, like, that was sort of, like, her claim to fame after the whole... Because everybody only ever knew her as Winnie, but then when you look into her, you're like, oh, shit, like, she actually had a successful life outside of acting after this, and that was what she went on to do.
And then Satuki also asked us if we could talk about The Last Unicorn, maybe. Because it would give us a chance to talk about Christopher Lee more.
I mean, like, you had me at... Well, first of all, you had me at The Last Unicorn, because I've always wanted to watch that. But...
Yeah, me too. And that terrible song... Apparently there's a really bad song in it. When I'm a woman... Like, I saw a review of it, and, like, once the unicorn turns into a woman, she sings this sad song about how she doesn't want to be a woman. It's really weird. But yeah, sure. On the list.
We'll put it on the fucking pile.
Throw it on top of our heap.
And Satuki also asked, I remember Tooch made a Tumblr post once about wanting to draw mechas. How is that going, Tooch?
I'm in a tunnel. Breaking up. Why do I record this driving down the highway at 80 miles? Tooch died in a car crash. He will be missed.
What is this, Stan? You just record in your car?
But no, I have a full-time job now. I barely have time for this, barely. Like, I basically finish recording this and then go directly to bed. I haven't had much time for art at all. I'm sorry.
Me neither, because I would have to, like, learn art, and I'm not gonna try. Nobody's asking for that.
But yeah, I'm working on a webcomic with a friend who came up with an idea for a webcomic that will involve mechas, basically just to get us to draw them more. So, and he's started cranking out some concepts for that. Like, he was showing me while we were recording this. Oh, duh, it's Justin. It's the guy who gave us the elf story. Me and him are working on a comic together.
Yeah, cool.
So yeah.
Coolio.
So that's where that is. I just haven't drawn anything for it yet.
Well, thanks to everybody who, commented and wrote in. I know, SoundCloud has this feature where you can comment, directly in a specific point of the podcast, and we've gotten some people who had said some commentary for stuff, but, I had to, listen to the context of what they were talking about, because otherwise I'm I don't understand what you're saying. But thank you so much for writing to us and talking to us. We really appreciate it.
Are they trying to trick us into listening to our own podcast? Because it's not going to work. Let me tell you. We're way more stubborn than that.
Where can they find us?
They can find us all over the ding-dong place, blah, blah. We are on
Google!
Tumblr.
Just Google it! I have no idea if we're listed on Google. Tell them the actual places.
Okay. We are on Tumblr, thetoongoons.tumblr.com. That is our main site. You can find all of our stuff there, including some cool posts on animation stuff.
And the interview that we talked about in the top of this show, if you can remember. I barely remember it. It was 2 hours ago!
We are on Twitter at the Toon Goons. So you can tweet at us. Sometimes people do it, and then it's great. We are also on SoundCloud. We are also on iTunes. Rate and subscribe on iTunes. Write a review. That'd be super duper cool. Those are all the places where we are. Also, we are on YouTube, but there's nothing there.
Still working on it. We've been busy. May look into getting some outside help.
We'll let you know. You guys will be the first ones to know.
We are on Google, by the way. I just Googled us, and our SoundCloud and our Tumblr and our Twitter comes up right there on the first page. And our iTunes. Yeah, and then our logo is even the result. So yeah, we're totally Googled.
Sweet.
Incredible.
And I didn't even have to put just Toon Goons.
Well, I mean, we're on Google Plus, so if you use that,
which we don't.
Our Google Plus account is not in this first page of results.
I don't know how Google Plus works.
No one
if anyone
does.
Can tell me how it works. I'd be so happy.
Google's we're just trying to farm everybody's information.
Oh my god.
Why don't you want to give us your cell phone number? Gosh.
It's more secure. No, how dumb do you... They think I'm pretty dumb. I don't know.
That's Toon Goons.
Half of this is getting cut. Oh, next week. Hey, Arnold.
Hey, Arnold!
Jazz.
Out of all the 90s Nick shows, I think it holds up among the best, if not the best.
The best
we'll
thing...
talk about it more next week.
Best thing
Totes.
Nickelodeon aired ever.
Yeah, it's one of my all-time faves.
All right. I've been Nikki.
I've been Nina.
I continue to be Tooch.
Thank you for tuning in. Bye.
You sound
I was trying to remember if I had as if there was something else I said after that.
Like you were so unsure of yourself, tuning in and tuning out.